All right, Sundial SNDL. This is a pump and dump video, a poorly timed one, but let's take a look at this thing. I was looking at some weed stocks, Aphria, APHA, Tilray, TLRY. Several weed stocks have been just like going parabolic up, and I've been looking for an entry point for put options on this, and this is not financial advice as usual. But as almost always the case, all of the interesting action happens in off like after hours trading, where you can't get options. Okay, so let's get out to 15 minutes and take a look at this crazy thing. Like this one is wild. And Sundial has a really long-term sort of base level support down here at whatever it is, 60 cents or something. And we have a triple bubble take off here. And if you get down on this, you can see just a series of little bull pennant flags up this high level trend line. 1, 2, 3. And then we got a pretty big pullback here and broke through after hours and just sold off hard into open before options are even available. So there was never particularly good entry point on this for to place a put, and it didn't do anything crazy dramatic like this. This move down into the trend line doesn't even look like too big of a deal. But anyway, generally, if possible, want to get puts up when you take off and go to like a parabolic peak. But if you get in here, you have to go to like a minute on this one. It's fast paced. So I mean, this one's up on triple trend lines, and I don't know if this one popped or squeezed yet. We're just getting like this big consolidation zone to open, which I would imagine will break down. I think this one already went. I think this might be a sort of a back test here before it pulls down. Let me play with this zone and see if I can figure it out. Yeah, big crisscross to set the zone up. Double tap this side. So it's possible it's more like this. In any case, as far as a put play goes, the top edge of this thing is probably a good idea. But yeah, so I'm not sure. That might have been it already. It's not very clear on this where exactly the break kind of point is, or like exactly where it's consolidating. It may be like that, just because these two tops are like down here. Something like that. Anyway, this is Sundial, and this thing's broken off of its high-level bubble support, obviously pretty hard here, so there's a very good chance this thing is coming down over the next whenever, in the next 2 days. And I would not be surprised to see this thing come through all these trend lines all the way back down to here to like 60 cents. So vertical descent from 3 to 0.6 would be a huge opportunity for a put here. And then also, I mean, just fundamentally, like the Sundial is not a short squeeze or anything like that. This is just a hypey kind of. It started picking up when the government went all Democrat and they're talking about legalizing weed. Everyone started getting excited, and then it just got out of control. And now it's run up a super bubble trend line. And this peak didn't really give away the reversal. I mean, it did pull off of the trend line pretty good, but it happened overnight. So this is kind of the best entry. Let's take a look at Tilray. And Tilray did the same thing. I looked at it yesterday, and it looked like it might be consolidating down for another kind of steep flag move here. But it did a double top. It did a double top and rolled, and there's no consolidation zone. It just rolled over. But it happened overnight as well. So there's no good entry. This one doesn't have as many trend lines. Let me do like 15-minute. Yeah, so this one doesn't have as many trend lines to work with. And this is semi-legit discussion of a merger between Tilray and Aphria. So like this higher level trend line could hold here. This could just be a bubble. So the options on this are a little bit more expensive. Like the cost of the time of holding the options is more expensive. And this trend line could hold on this one. I mean, this is a long, semi-legit looking trend line underneath. So I mean, this could kind of wobble sideways above this trend line or something like that. I mean, the big drop already happened overnight, so this is not as good of an entry. But it still looks like, I mean, if it went up and sort of back tested up here, maybe, then that would be a good entry. But it doesn't look like it's trying to do that right now. So that's Tilray, and then Aphria here is a much uglier chart, and it's just breaking down under its support line. So maybe that's useful and makes sense relative to the other chart. Like it's just, this one's just kind of broken down. And those two have been trading relatively closely as far as people kind of buying and holding for the merger. So this breakdown may cause a rip, and this one has support at like 10. So in half from here over whatever, the next week or something maybe for Aphria. Okay, let's kind of look at that. And then let's take a look at some other put looking things. Tesla did, it was in a consolidation zone all yesterday, and it did a weird pop up, and it's pretty close to this trend line actually. So that's interesting. And it's coming back down to open. So Tesla, I think, is in trouble. I think Tesla's coming down a bit. Get out to like an hourly maybe. Yeah, so this is sort of the takeoff point, the last kind of support takeoff area here into this. This is like a really hot squeeze into support. It wasn't consolidating, it was going nuts. It broke down under the support trend line. So I issued kind of a warning video when that happened, and then it definitely broke down here. And this little pop might be setting up the downtrend line that we're underneath right now. It looks like we're ripping down here. And then I just kind of have, you know, it's setting up some sort of channel hits. There's 4 hits here. There's 3 hits on this one. Just 2 hits on this back here, but it's parallel, so I just drew a parallel channel here. So I think this thing's going to pull down across this channel and just see if it stays underneath this thing, and it could be a pretty mean crossover tap all the way down into this area, actually. And then I'm thinking it could come down here and then kind of come back to support or something. Something like that, maybe. But Tesla looks pretty scary right now. And then I've done the dramatic, super blow off top kind of idea before too. Or this edging pattern, let me zoom out farther than this. Let's look at the whole Tesla chart, because Tesla's pretty crazy. Yeah, that's Tesla. So we had the pre Tesla bubble at the beginning of 2020, and it's gone one trend line, and then it went kind of vertical here, and then it did a big pullback and kind of did a little flag pennant move across and picked up a higher trend line again, but it stayed above support here. It's possible that happens. That's what I was just drawing here. Like this could kind of rip and just kind of, do something similar to that. But the big dramatic thing would be if it pulls back and then it slingshots above this trend line, and then you would get the big crash that rips through. If we get a parabolic top above this right now after it's broken down, it could get really dangerous as a huge rip that could go for several months. You could have a big backside of the bubble kind of bear pattern on Tesla. So just kind of watching Tesla, and it looks like there's a short-term put play here, but we might still be on the front side of this bubble. So I'm not trying to get too cute with puts on the front side of the bubble until, like, if we broke under this one, maybe, but this doesn't look exactly like the major top of the bubble right here, but it does look like it's going to pull back. So anyway, that's where Tesla is. Oh goodness, all right. The whole market is up above the long-term consolidation area, so it's looking weird. That's looking weird. We're just up here, like back up in this channel. Let me get into like 15 minutes. Yeah, so I mean we came all the way down to the top of that huge megaphone pattern. We're back up in the bull channel and just kind of hitting resistance up here. Just kind of trying to see if there's a consolidation zone. So I don't think there's going to be too much big news here in the next couple days. I mean, we just probably pull and wobble in this channel a little bit. If we break above the channel, that's going to be super bullish for the whole market if it gets up here and does that above the channel. If it just wobbles in the channel, it's kind of the same old thing. And then breaking down here is not going to get bearish. Like, it could do a pretty big move down to the top of the megaphone again without getting too bearish. But if it breaks inside of the big megaphone and sort of back tests, that would start getting bearish on the S&P. But right now it's just up in a bullish channel and just seeing if it's bullish or if it's going to get like crazy bullish for the whole market. The DXY, this has been the big thing. So we've been in a weak dollar channel. Let's get out to like dailies. Super long term. So this huge rip here is the big 2020 crash. And we've had a super weak dollar. This whole time that the market's been ripping up is weak dollars. And all of these kind of pullbacks are where the market kind of pulled down on the way. This is the crossovers, the big choppy part. But we've tapped the bottom of this channel. We've popped out of here. We caught support once, and now let me get in on this and see. That's too close, too close. All right, yeah. Anyways, we're back down around this support line. So we popped out of the channel here. The dollar's still long term. I gotta go out to hours. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we did support, like super grinding flat support here as we came out of the channel and did a big bullish bounce out of here. So this is setting up a bullish looking trend line, and we're just coming down right down onto the trend line now and testing it. So this looks like it'll grind out for another day or two, maybe over the weekend. But if this thing pops out hot here, I mean, this could be a bullish dollar that goes for, it could go for a long time. I mean, these kind of not too steep, kind of sloped, support trend lines, like they can go for 2 years or like 10 years. And so it's generally not great for the market. I mean, we had a bull market with a dollar support line like this over since the financial crisis. Here, if I go back out, I can show you. Go away. What do we want? Here, let's go out to like weekly. Yeah, here's a longer term look at the dollar. So like .com bubble, the run up to the .com bubble was a super strong dollar. So it was correlating the other direction for a while. And then the 2008 crash was down here. It was a dollar bottom. So we've been strong dollar during most of the bull market. It was a really like kind of weak bull market from 2008. A really slow, weak bull market with a couple of pullbacks. But since Volmageddon, I guess since 2018 here, the dollar correlation has been like exactly opposite to the stock market. Like this goes up, the stock market comes down. Like it goes up, the stock market crashes. This big rip was that rally. And now this is the trend line that we're looking to pick up. It's steeper than the one we had prior. And that probably is not good for the stock market. But we have seen the S&P rally to all-time highs into this dollar rally, which is weird. So maybe that correlation is breaking down. Anyway, definitely want to keep looking at the dollar and seeing. There's kind of crazy speculation and risk in the market now. So that's kind of the point where either the market's going to pull back or it's going to blow up. But we're kind of at an important point in the market. VIX is boring, like nothing's going on. Okay, that's kind of the look at the weed stocks. The weed bubbles are popping now. And I guess let's take a look at silver. First Majestic. That looks crazy. So yeah, First Majestic got that silver squeeze news blast. It was kind of trending uphill. It got that news blast. And it looks like it's bounced and picked up support. I think this is getting a higher trend line, a higher bubble trend line now. This isn't quite as dramatic as the weed stocks. It's a lot slower uptrend, but it does look like an uptrend. And then silver, yeah, just following up on the silver squeeze news. Silver is on a pretty long support. Like this is the last tap out support here, and first whatever. Yeah, the silver squeeze news was whatever. Here, let me get out to like. Let's go to dailies. Let's just look at silver over a while. Like this is the 2018 crash here, and this is like spot price, like the prices of the 1,000 kilogram bars supposedly, and the paper silver is relative to this, but um, the price of coins like never came below like 22 or something was the cheapest coins I saw, even even at like the First Majestic bullion store. And so I mean silver just went into this weird zone where it didn't look like it was doing anything. You couldn't figure out what it was doing, but now it's tapped and tapped and tapped. It's picked up the support line here, so it looks like a pretty high angle support line for silver now. And we got kind of this run up and pull back. So kind of looking at Tesla or something, like Tesla could kind of just pull back and pick up support and pick up another trend line or something. The weed stocks are less likely to do that, I think. Let me get into like hourlies. So yeah, I guess this spike to 30 was the silver squeeze news blast, right? So first, or this one. I think it was this peak to 30 that was the silver squeeze news blast. But anyway, it's bouncing up support pretty well, and now it looks like it held on a higher trend line, so we might get a little run up a higher trend line. It's possible silver picks up into a bigger bubble, but the normal support is just down here at 26 or whatever. But I mean, this thing could run up. Who knows? Silver could bubble. I could see it happening. All right, that'll do. Not investment advice. I always forget to say playlists and stuff. I'll throw this in like the hot new stocks category, but yeah, if you want to check out my playlist, hit the like button, and happy trading.